It was kind of nice hearing from the people who came in to upgrade on how neat the theater is and how they like to come to these old theaters and upgrade them just to keep them alive. Because there's a lot of character in an old theater that you don't necessarily see in the brand new mega theaters that we have now.
Well, 1930s, 1937, it's been around for a while, so tell me about what it's like inside. I mean, is it the traditional old theater feel?
It is. It is. It's a long theater, a lot of seats. Every seat is. You don't have any, I guess, side seats to where you're looking at the screen from an angle. Everything's just right in front of the screen, and there's really not a bad seat in the house.
So you probably don't use film canisters anymore, do you?
Well, up until just this year, we did. We actually had 2 very old projectors. I'm not even sure how old they were. I know it was like 2 upgrades ago that we should have done. We get the film in on a reel, several reels, and I would, as the projectionist, as we watch the movie, switch back and forth between 2 different projectors just to keep the movie going. So if you ever saw a black spot in the middle of the movie, that's because I didn't push the buttons quick enough.
Really? So now, see, listen, the upgrades are going to make it easier.
It's going to be great now with digital. Most of my work is done getting the movie into the system, get it all put together, and on movie day, I get to hit play and go watch the movie. It's going to be great.
Carolyn, why is it important for the Ritz Theater to continue? Obviously, we just covered some of the historic nature of it, but why was it important for the community and the county to keep this theater open? It's a community type event. I mean, it's not privately owned, right?
No, it isn't. It's owned by the city, and I think the story on that was at some point in the past, the city realized that if they didn't play a part in helping keep that going, that it was one of those services that would go by the wayside, and we do need those kind of things just to maintain our sense of community. As it develops business too, it can actually also support some of the other things that the city is involved with, like the swimming pool and so forth too. I mean, it actually, the revenue can help each other. But it's like so many of the things that we do in trying to further economic development in small towns, we're looking to not only grow, but make sure that we don't lose what we've already got. And I guess this is one more example of that.
We see so many things in small towns going away. Population's going away, and we've got to find ways to bring people to town. And a movie's a great way. We'll be able to show new movies now, high quality sound for $5. We're not raising our prices. So for $5, come to a movie. You can't beat that. But come early and come to one of the great restaurants in town, and support the town in that way. And it's just great to see something stay alive like that.
What kind of draw and pull can the Ritz Theater have, especially with this upgraded equipment, do you guys think?
Well, I think, again, because of the fact that we're committed to not just being a money-making project, this is something that the city is doing to support the community. So we're committed to keeping those prices down, so it makes it easy for a family to come to a movie. So I think we'll have a draw, several towns around, just one for that, one for the historical fun of the theater. So I think, we'll get Pratt, we'll get maybe some from here in Great Bend even, Larned, Sterling, all those towns around. We'd love to see them come in. And obviously the towns in Stafford County, to come support something in their county as well.
What's a night at the Ritz like?
We actually talked about that last night, and just with this digital equipment, it creates so many more opportunities for us than the old 35 millimeter film. We're able now to sell pre-movie advertising, promote community events. We got a community calendar that'll play before the movie starts. Economic development is actually sponsoring the next 2 movies. We have sponsorships available, and they have a little segment, and you can tell us about
it was a video that Sydney Blanton, along with some of the students from the Seed Center in Stafford, developed to explain what the Healthy Communities Initiative is and why that element of public health is important for us as we grow economically. So it's I think about a 2 or 3 minute video, and because now of the technology that exists there, we can bring it over on a flash drive, and Brandon can load it, and it's a great way to just further that message a little bit in the community too.
And it's going to be neat to see that on the big screen, and for the students who took part in creating it, to we see it on our TVs and our computers, but for them to sit there in the theater and realize that something that they've done is now projected up onto the big screen at a theater, that's pretty cool.
It really is. This can lead to so many different other things. I mean, there can be other events down there and things like that I know that you guys are probably just thinking about all the time.
We are, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm nodding my head. Yes.
Okay, Brandon. So you need to upgrade this equipment. So you just drive down to Radio Shack, go in, spend a couple $100, and it's done with, right?
That's right. No, not exactly. 35 millimeter. There's something lost with losing the 35 millimeter, and I think there is something to that. But as technology grows, beginning of this year, 35 millimeter films were no longer available for our theater, because we are a smaller theater. We're not one of the big chains. It was hard for us to get a movie before it came out on Redbox, just because we were kind of low on the chain. Because when you're showing a 35 millimeter movie, you keep the 35 millimeter film until you're done. But now with digital, we were able, to purchase the equipment on a lease. We are actually fundraising, to help pay for that equipment. It was $40,000 purchase. All the old equipment had to go away. New equipment come in. We're working right now on getting new sound installed to make it a good experience. But now we can get the new movies, and we can do those things that we couldn't do before. So it was necessary in the fact that 35 millimeter was no longer available, but it's also great in the fact that, we're going to get new movies showing in small town Stafford, which is going to be great for the community.
That is just so cool. That is just really, really great. So tell me what's on tap. What's coming up at the Ritz in Stafford?
Okay, tomorrow. So Fridays at 7:30, Saturdays at 7:30, Sundays at 3:00. This weekend will be the Lego Movie. It's not the newest movie out there, but it's a fun movie. So we decided let's go ahead and get that for our opening weekend. In 2 weeks, and I should have my calendar open to tell you the dates exactly, but we'll be having Tyler Perry's Single Moms Club showing at the same times for the weekend. 2 weeks following that, we're going to have Noah, the movie. And that will be the weekend following Easter, so I think it's good timing that, churches out there can promote for their people to go watch the movie. And you hear all the commentary, and I know it's not exactly how it's written out in the Bible, but the spirit of the story is there, and I think it's a great outreach for people. So, churches, invite your people to go watch this movie, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it.
$5.
$5. Kids are $3.
$5 for adults, $3 for kids, and heck, you can see Noah down there. I like the Sunday afternoon matinee.
Yeah.
I mean, so you always wonder what to do on Sunday afternoon, especially when you get at this time of year. There's no football on. There's no basketball.
What else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do? But that would be great. Now, people can find what you have coming up. I think you can just go online and get that information, can't you?
Yeah, you can go to the city webpage. It's cityofstaffordks.com, or go to Facebook. We keep Facebook live of what's going on. We're going to be getting a Twitter account soon. I didn't get it set up yet, but we'll let you know. But watch Facebook, watch the city page, and we keep you up on what's coming.
Brandon Hoffman, projectionist at the historic Ritz Theater in Stafford. Where do you get your passion for this, Brandon? I can just tell. I mean, you've got an excitement, you've got a passion for what you do, and probably a little hometown pride as well.
Well, I'm actually an implant to Stafford County. I grew up down in Coldwater, another small town. Spent my several years since then in the larger cities, Manhattan, Hutchinson. I know that to some people those aren't large cities, but as somebody who grew up on a 3,000-acre playground, those are large cities. So we made the decision to come back to the small town and get that small town way of life. And my passion is just that I want to see the community flourish, and I see the theater as something that this community needs to do that. And I'm a technology buff, so and there was the nostalgia of running the 35 millimeter, and then when the digital came out, I mean, I enjoy tinkering with it and helping people watch the movie. So it is a passion for me. It's a passion to invest something back out into the community.
Coldwater. You went to Coldwater when Coldwater was Coldwater.
When it was Coldwater High. Yep, sure did.
Wow.
Aren't you actually from Buttermilk?
I am from Buttermilk, and I don't know how many people.
The heart of the Gyp Hills.
That's right. Had the Red Hills right behind the house.
Have you ever been to the Gyp Hills, Carolyn? Really? You're not that far away, right?
I'm probably not off of Highway 281.
If someone would put a cover over your eyes and just take you down and then take your blindfold off, you would have no idea where you were. You would swear you were in Arizona.
Yeah, people say Kansas is flat. Well, not all.
Wow, I met a guy from Buttermilk, Kansas. This has been the best day ever. Wow, Brandon Hoffman with us today. Carolyn Dunn also talk about the fundraisers. You want to talk about those real quick? I think you mentioned them earlier, but some ways people can contribute to continue to see $5 movies in Stafford.
Sure. You know, we do have this equipment that does need to be purchased. And, you know, as soon as we get that paid off, we're going to be able to upgrade to 3D. And then, as Carolyn mentioned before, once the theater becomes a profitable entity, we can do things like upgrading our parks and our swimming pool and contribute. But if somebody wants to give to help pay for that equipment and obviously save the interest and things, if you want to come to the theater, just tell them, you know, here's an extra $5 for the donation, or you can send the money to the city of Stafford as a donation. We can give tax deductible receipts if that's something you wish. All you got to do is ask.
I think you need to change your motto down in Stafford County. That is be Stafford County. We've got it going on. You know, I mean that is just awesome. I've got to go down and see this 1937. Wow, the Ritz Theater. Carolyn Dunn with us right now. So you guys are building a boat port down there, right? Is that what I understood from this port? No.
Yeah.
You guys covered it.
All that water we have.
Last month.
I like that.
The Port Authority, and we did a couple news stories on that as well. And so it looks like so far so good. The Senate Transportation Committee passed unanimously the process to get this going right now, and very exciting times.
We're moving on. I guess that's a good thing for a port, right? We're moving on. I testified last week in the Senate Transportation Committee in Topeka, and they, like you said, passed it out unanimously. It hit the Senate floor earlier this week, and again passed without any controversy. So I think we're well on our way. It's now in the House, and hopefully will be heard on the House floor before too long, and we'll consider it just done.
What happens once it gets by the House, which we anticipated that's no problem with that? Then what happens then?
Then we can consider ourselves authorized. Our county has already passed its resolution. The state will have passed their resolution, and that gives us the ability to move on and develop articles of incorporation and a board of directors and proceed to develop something. I've always said that I feel like, though, before we go too far into that process, we really kind of need to have that anchor business that we'll be using to develop that around. But now that we have the authorization, or presumably will soon, in hand, we can do that whether the Kansas legislature happens to be in session or not at the given time that we are negotiating with that business. So,
do you have a location, a location where this port would be at this time?
It could be anywhere in Stafford County.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but the idea is that we're wanting to integrate it with the existing infrastructure of transportation that we have. So along the BNSF mainline railroad that crosses the county from east to west, and then somewhere within good proximity to the two U.S. highways that we also.
And then location. That's a main line that comes through there. It's not some spur that's dropping down. It's
that's important.
Yeah, there's a pretty main line. What questions are you getting from residents of Stafford County about this right now?
Honestly, I don't. My phone's not ringing off the hook with a lot of inquiries, but I suppose that they just want to know what it is. So, we've been trying to explain what the process is and why we're looking for this. It's just a good tool for being able to develop your business climate, and so between the radio and the newspaper, we're just right now just trying to explain what it is and how it could impact taxpayers. The next steps after establishing that board of directors and the articles of incorporation is that it would go to a vote of the taxpayers as to whether or not any taxes would be levied. So
that's the biggest thing in this whole thing, that any taxes are going to be levied, people will get a chance to vote on this.
Absolutely.
So
sounds like another great video to play before a movie at the Ritz.
We'll play that before and not after the movie, I guess.
And no,
I don't know that that's lots of drama, but
we've got the Chamber of Commerce banquet coming up on Saturday. I get like this old Hollywood. Kind of goes in with the Ritz Theater, doesn't it?
We thought that was a timely theme. It's not too late to get tickets. They also are very economical at $13 a piece. You could call our office at 549-3527 if you'd be interested in that. It'll be just a good social outing on a Saturday night.
And where's that going to be held at?
It's at the Christian Church, First Christian Church in Stafford.
How old now is Stafford County Eco Devo? 2 years?
Yes. It kind of depends on how you start counting it. Because we initially started working through the county, and when that county department was really established was about June 2011. But not long after that, we kind of transitioned into a nonprofit with the belief that having that entity in place would expand the range of opportunities that we could act upon. It would expand funding opportunities through grants and the like. And so we now operate as a separate nonprofit, and that was fully in place we started operating out of that in January 2012.
What's been the response been? You finding out more and more. You start out and you think, gosh, I don't know if anyone knows about us at all, but I think right now people are really starting to find out more about your organization right now, and I think that people would be excited about that, aren't they?
I think so. I think we're doing good things. We're making some progress. It never comes as fast as you hope for, but at the same time, we're about to break ground on our first housing project, and I think we're all excited about taking the photo with the hard hats and all to prove that we are making some progress. So we'll hopefully have a couple houses built in the next year. Those are, some of our bigger projects. I was adding up the other day how much we've been able to acquire in different grant funding over the last 2.5 years, and not all of it has come to Stafford County Economic Development. In some cases, we are working with, for example, the schools, and we help fill out applications with them that nonetheless helps generate activity in our county, and we're getting close to the $800,000 mark now over the last couple of years. So there's a lot of things, from entrepreneurship projects to agribusiness. Our high tunnel project. There's 2 different school projects that involve entrepreneurship and business development, housing, our Healthy Communities Initiative. So we've got our fingers out in a lot of different things.
Stafford County, we've got it going on. Okay. On Focus on Stafford County today, Brandon Hoffman with us, and he's just not a projectionist. That's probably, he does some other things. Brandon, tell me about the Project Belong that I know you're really excited about.
Okay. Yeah, Project Belong is my day job. Essentially, it's a ministry here in Kansas, and we chose Stafford because we're kind of in the middle of the state. And like I said earlier, we wanted to get back into small town, but it's a ministry that we recruit, train, and support foster and adoptive families from the faith community. So, if you're interested in foster care adoption, have questions, you can come to us, and we can answer those from a faith perspective, and support you if you're already a foster adoptive family, and go from there. We also have a project where we are working to purchase and renovate the old Henderson House bed and breakfast. And then we want to eventually build a conference center on site. And I think, again, that will be a good improvement to the city of Stafford and Stafford County to have a facility of that caliber that can be used for large events and banquets and things like that. And obviously, we would use it pretty heavily for ministry, but would make it available.
How can people find out more about what you guys have going on?
ProjectBelong.org.
And this is, is this just in Kansas, or is it throughout the United States?
There are a few other ministries around that are similar to what we do, but this is a ministry we started right here in Kansas, and we work with international and private adoptions as well, but our focus is foster care adoptions. There's 1,000 children right now in Kansas who are parentless. They're just waiting for someone to come along and say, I'll be your parent. And that's really our focus. You
grew up in a small community of Coldwater. You know the challenges of what small towns and smaller counties are facing. What do you think about the efforts being made in Stafford County as someone who, as you said, is an implant?
I'm actually excited that we have Carolyn and the Economic Development, an organization that their focus is the economy of Stafford County and keeping things going. And Carolyn's been great resource for me with Project Long. That's actually how we met, just in getting this ministry up and going, and some ideas. And we've talked about some grant funding, and we do have some grants going to be in place for this building project, and hopefully we'll have more. And obviously we're taking donations if anybody wants. But I think it's important that these small counties and small towns in Kansas have an organization like EcoDevo that is working to keep the county on the map and keep things going.
Is this guy a leadership Golden Belt graduate?
I think we need to work on recruiting him.
I think he's your guy.
Are you going to help me?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I need one more thing to do. That's what my wife would say, I'm sure.
It's fantastic, guys. Before we let you go, about a minute and a half here. Anything else you want to add before you guys head back down to Stafford County, where they've got it going on?
I would just say, just come through Stafford, come watch the movie, drive around, see what we got going on. And there's a lot of other opportunities to get things going on in Stafford. If somebody just had the initiative, and there are people like us that, we can't devote a lot of time, but we're willing to help you get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
You like that?
I do like that.
Leadership Golden Belt material. The historic Ritz Theater. This is I just think it's really neat. Since 1937. How about the Mystic? It was so mystical that no one knew where even it was.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think that's a perfect name for it.
I think the next thing would be to find out for our next show next month, Carolyn, where the original Mystic was, because I guess it's a lost mystery. It's the lost theater. $5 movies in Stafford. That's just fantastic. Congratulations on what you do, Brandon. Keep having fun. Coldwater Eagles, right?
That's right.
Okay, all right. And a guy from Buttermilk. Doesn't get any better than that, folks. That's this month's edition of Focus on Stafford County. News coming up next here on the Mighty 1590 KVGB.